welcome to the Marngrook Footy Show. It was great to have you on, and it's been a long time coming, mate, so thanks for coming. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Now, this weekend, Indigenous round, it's a huge weekend of football. Is it something that you personally look forward to?
Yeah, definitely. Myself and our footy club and the AFL in general, we take this round very seriously, and it's a big part of AFL. And just to see so many Indigenous players out there playing AFL these days is something very special. And to see all the kids here today that are Indigenous and clapping is great for the game.
Now, Buddy, the Hawks, you're travelling really well. You're on top of the ladder. You've only lost one game, 8 wins, and you've already beat all the finalists from last year, so you're sitting pretty good. You're pretty happy with the way things are going at the moment?
Yeah, we got off to a pretty good start. You can't complain. We're in a pretty good position at the moment. But yeah, the old cliche, we take one game at a time. We've got Gold Coast this week, which is going to be a tough game. They've played some good football this season, so that's going to be another good challenge for us. Because
this year you haven't kicked as many goals as what you normally would this time of the year, but that's a good thing because you seem like you're spreading the goals around more on the Hawthorn forward line.
I think I was on 20 goals the same time this last year, and then I came out and kicked the 13, I think, so yeah.
Buddy, how you going, brother? Phil.
Yeah, good.
Welcome on the Marngrook, and yeah, it's fantastic having you. And from a personal point of view, absolutely love the way you play football, and yeah, it's fantastic. I was down at Xtra today, as I mentioned before, and I saw a mate of mine, Alistair Clarkson, your coach, and great bloke, and we was talking, football and what it was like and all that sort of stuff when we were playing. Yep. And we touched on you a little bit, and yeah, and he's
touching a little bit.
Touched on Buddy just a little bit. And brother, what I'd like to ask you, your first game of football back in 2005 was against Adam Goods. You got any memories from that?
It was obviously debuting round 1 against Sydney Swans, and Adam Goods being the player he is, he's the champion of the game, and just looking up to him as a youngster and having matched up on him in my first game was something that I'll never forget. And he's a superstar of the game and still is. So I'll look back on that and cherish that moment. And obviously playing for Hawthorn Football Club, they've done so much for me personally, and they've been a great football club.
I'm just going to roll into that. When we're talking about connection, just got to get this off my chest. Are you related to him? He tells me you're related to him along the line.
We're all brothers, you know that. Come on.
Well, I'm not his brother, but that's okay. But that's fine. You can be related to him. But now, Western Australia, I followed a lot of Western. I played a lot of footy in Western Australia. Did you follow any super? I mean, there's some legends in here today. John Obe and Cracker, and I mean, any guys that you followed when you were young? Burns.
Yeah, I like Burnsy. I liked all you boys. It's funny enough, I was a Melbourne supporter, which is a little bit different being from Western Australia. Everyone was obviously Eagles, Dockers, but yeah, I was a Melbourne supporter. But yeah, people I looked up to in terms of Indigenous were Adam Goods and Andrew McLeod, little Jeffrey Farmer, absolute superstar, one of the best forward line players I've ever seen. So guys like that, and Jono's giving me the wink saying, come on and say me right now, so we'll say Jono too.
Obviously in 2008 you won the premiership, but what do you think's been some of your major achievements or the things that you're most proud of so far when you look back on your career besides that flag?
Yeah, it's hard to compare. Obviously the grand final is something that you play football, and to get that opportunity to play in a grand final and to win one was something that I'll look back on in my career and go, yeah, I'll be absolutely blown away by it. But it's just so hard to actually win a premiership and get yourself in that position. So you sort of take things for granted. Being so young, 21, and winning a premiership as I did then, you sort of take it for granted. But that was 5 years ago now, so I'll be fighting my best to hopefully win one this year.
And Lance, last week must have been a big hurdle for the club, getting over the Swans. Obviously went down in the grand final. Was there much mention in that in the pre-game or through the week coming up against the Swans last week?
No, not really. We obviously respect Sydney Swans a lot. And obviously, you're never out of the game against Sydney, and it wasn't made mention too much, but I think a lot of the boys will have that in the back of their minds. It's never good. It's not a great feeling losing a grand final, so we've got to make amends this year and the years on. So we've got a great bunch of boys down at the club at the moment, and some great young kids coming through that are pushing the senior blokes on, and yeah, it's going to be a good year for us.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Lance, just where you come from, brother. I know, I know it's WA, but we're about in WA. And just talk to us a little bit about young Lance Franklin as a kid growing up and how you got to be an AFL footballer.
Yep. So I grew up in a country town called Darren, so that's 2 hours north of Perth. So I grew up there. I went to school till I was 15 years of age. Played a lot of junior football, so I started when I was 6 years of age. Dad took me down to the local footy club when I was 5, and Mum didn't want me to go down, but she goes, go down the next year when you're 6 and a little bit bigger, but Dad said go along, but they said no, he's too small anyway. So I went back there the year later and absolutely loved playing football. I just enjoyed it. Just loved waking up in the morning and smelling that grass. The wet grass is nothing better than that. And yeah, and then my sisters played netball, so that took up all our Saturday and Sunday. It was just we were sport-orientated family, and as I said, it brings communities and families together. And the town I came from only had 800 people, so it was a small town, and everyone knew everyone. And yeah, from the age of 15, then I went and played some more junior football in a country town called Northam, sorry. That's where Chance Bateman and Darren Glass, so that's called the Avon Valley. So I played a little bit of football there too and enjoyed that. And then from there, at the age of 16, I got a scholarship to Wesley College, just in the city. And then I played 2 years of school football there. And the main thing for me out of that was going to Wesley College and was getting it education, and then football was second for me. But that was the most important thing for me at that stage, and really paid off.